did what I was told.
It's the same
Trusted
here.
what the people in my life told me. Know what that got me?
A life of crime.
Lost. The only person real in my life. The only person who saw me. The real me. Gone.
They don't want to join. It's not relevant for the market.
Beginning to think you're invincible.
I pull the trigger. No, the rules have changed.
First, well, for me, I would understand the reason behind
You still
why
with me?
don't they want to join. Maybe price-wise,
Either accept
quality-wise,
defeat or take a stand.
maybe the estimate
Is Livingston a
arrival,
world-class
maybe
asshole?
logistical-wise.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Let's say maybe it's a
But
price
Arrow?
wise. They're not
She's
relevant to the price of
unhinged.
this product.
Not
And
sure
if
if
they
I'd
have
buy
the
them
biggest,
being in the same league.
quantity, maybe I could do a tender,
Do I think it was Harrow?
find a supplier,
Don't know.
let's say only
Probably.
for Germany and
Pantheon's got a
borders
war
and other
chest.
stuff. We can have like
Could
all
be
the
she
different
traded
suppliers
me,
for the
Mason,
same
and
product,
Hudson for a
in
mountain
which
of
they,
cash.
they produce the
Raul
same
Menendez
quality,
is swimming
but
in
maybe
trouble.
it's more relevant to Germany
surprise
having
me at
less
all.
prices. If this is a price relevant thing, but if it's like a logistic one or a production one, I could definitely promise them that we could do everything that we
Yeah,
can
he
do.
called.
Maybe I can have a
Said he
meeting with
won't
the
be
supplier
home in
face to
time for
face,
dinner.
meeting, and then explain
He's
for
still
them
searching
like
for Gusev in Iraq.
we could
leads
prolong,
a dead
for
end so
example, let's
far.
say we could prolong
But quick,
the,
ain't in Adler's
the contract
vocabulary.
between Metro AG
So,
and you,
We'll see.
but under one condition, maybe
Nah.
logistic data has to
Kid's
be
grown up a lot
much more
last
better.
couple weeks.
So
This might feel like a
compromises
nasty
would happen,
setback,
but there should
he'll pick
there
himself
must be
back
a reason
up.
behind it. Germany doesn't
resilient.
want to join.
I got faith in
Otherwise,
that
they
son
don't
of
want
a
this
bitch.
product from the essence of it, from the
Shit's
first
getting
from
heavy.
the beginning of it. But I believe that every problem there's an incentive that could solve it.
Okay.
Because in Metro,
No one
Metro,
here
we
believes
had
your
the same
contagious
problem,
case.
and
But
it was
a little more
the
space, if you don't mind.
estimate time arrival of the product from the supplier to the Metro
I'm ignoring
Metro
you.
Cash and Carry, and then we could solve this by prolonging the contract under the incentive of better logistical better
Broken
logistics, like to have the product arrive
Just
to the
what we
entity in
needed, right?
way less time than it's
I need some
being
time,
spent.
please.
Okay, one additional question. We closed tender. We have mentioned a forecast for a specific product. Now the contract is almost expired, coming to an end. One country did not take even half of the quantity which they communicated to us during the tender.
Yeah.
What would you do in this case? Because supplier is approaching you now. Well, this was dedicated to you. You have to take it. What would you
Yeah. Okay. So we had a similar situation while we were producing the chalk marks here in the Northwood area with our supplier called Fermes, and the contract with Fermes has to end at the end of this month. And one of the countries, they did not take the requested quantities that they already forecasted at, and then the only problem, the solution that we have after meeting with my supervisor and the manager and the supplier and also
B24,
the
it
country,
turns out,
we
refers to a safe
discussed and
deposit
we
box
ended
contained within the
the
Coolant
thing
Tatsi's
by
archive
prolonging the
room.
contract for 6 months.
As for
and
the
during these 6
wire
months,
mentioned on the
the
disc,
supplier is
I assume the Pantheon
country
is funding
obliged
their
to take
research
the
through
quantities.
laundered casino money.
And also
Whatever's in that
the
box,
country is also obliged
my
to pay
money
for
says
that.
it points us right to Gusev.
Because they are buying quantities
That's the hope.
for the
So
supplier.
we're gonna blow
So it's not the
open their
supplier's
vault,
fault.
but it's not the cash we're after.
Inside the vault is the only place I can override the archive room's security.
And while
Yeah,
the
they have to do
Tatsis
that.
are
I mean, I'm
distracted by
talking
our
based on
heist,
experience
Gates
that
is
I
gonna
really had
infill
in
the
the
archive room and find the box.
Even getting close to that room will be tough.
Not if casino security escorts Case right into the wing containing the archive room.
Where they usually question
guys, why didn't you go and pick up your
Case is going to get captured on purpose.
Precisely.
It's dangerous, and it's gonna take all 5 of us to pull it off. Starting with me at the high roller
country
gate.
has to go and pick
Any
up the
big there
quantities.
sets our whole plan into motion.
Other countries they also did pick up, but they
I know you
avoided
will.
by the end of December.
Let's
So
find
now
out what the
there's only
Pantheon's
this one
hiding in
country
that
that is
casino.
still picked up the quantity, waiting for it.
Okay. Coolant, you ready? Yeah, thank you very much. Good on my just waiting on case. You. What is the biggest failure
All set.
you were having in your recent working experience?
The biggest failure
Ciao,
I had.
welcome to Casino Lutazzi.
Chips,
wouldn't
please.
consider it a
The
failure.
boy here is feeling
I
real
would
low.
consider it
Very
a
good,
failure.
signore. Do you have any weapons that need to be
Failure.
checked?
Well, actually,
Right.
as a working student here,
Probably don't
my
want sore
tasks
losers walking
are
around shredded.
limited and they are
Grazie.
still
Enjoy.
internal. So every failure could eventually
This place
be
is something else.
solved. So I can give you one example is that while listing an article on MBS,
I'm over.
we had to create a new GTEM for these articles. And unfortunately, I wasn't aware that I have to use the same GTEM that the supplier has. So I created a new one. And
This is Casino Lutazzi, the
it was
neutral
a
space.
bit of a conflict between
The other
Metro AG and Metro
transactions
Germany
respect
because
that.
Metro Germany were only the country buying
Scusi,
this,
high roller
this
bar
article.
holders only,
But
signore.
at
You
the
will
end,
need to win one at the
my
table.
supervisor and my manager, they solved the problem with the supplier, so we had to change the GTIN of the supplier. I mean, I could not. I mean, I don't know if it's a failure, but I really learned from this because whenever I want to go list an article, the first question pops into my mind: should it have the same GTIN or not? So it was more of a very
You
strong
coming,
lesson for
Marshal?
me to just simply ask myself, should it have the same GTIN or not? Otherwise, it would lead to a catastrophe, even though it doesn't seem like that. But a minor thing would create a huge one.
Okay. If I meet some of your friends, what would they tell me about you?
Well, they would definitely tell you that
Ciao, signore.
I believe that I do
You
my
look
job
like someone
really
who
good.
appreciates
And you can also
luxury
ask
and
my
finesse.
colleagues here,
And-
also
No,
working
friends,
students.
friends. Not
Friends, okay.
job. Friends. Yeah. Except
About
if you speak
me
about
personally or like
friends.
job-wise?
No, no,
Play the
like,
poker, Marshal.
Okay,
Gotta win that
you can easily
20
tell that I'm
high
a social
roller
person. I
Only
like
way
to
we'll
speak
get
to
access
people,
to
I
the
like to get
lounge.
in touch with people.
In the high roller
I'm
lounge, that's
helpful,
what we'll need next.
and I'm really helpful, and I'm good communicator. I have my own personality and characteristics, and I don't know. I don't like when someone
Take a seat.
provokes. So provoking for me, it's a
mind if I do.
red line.
There is no shame in
what
losing.
do you understand
Marsh.
by this?
Mr. Marshal,
Like, I don't
Welcome,
like
signore.
when someone
The
triggers
game is
me.
Olden
For example,
Poker,
I know
with the
myself,
winner
and
receiving
if someone
a high
comes
roller
and
ball.
says the opposite, and he insists on
Looking
it,
forward to it.
I get provoked, you know. And then, but I learned to not to do that anymore. Just leave him as the way
I'll
he
take
thinks.
case.
Time will.
You know
will
the
do
score.
it.
Gotta tap all 3 junction boxes to
And
give me the
did it
full view.
happen recently? Not necessarily when you are a working student here, but when you work for I see that Optimal Medics
Yeah.
and so on. Did it happen?
Well, yes, it did happen. An incident that I can recall is one time because Optimal Medics they sell masks, they sell hand sanitizers, they sell everything that's related to babies. So one time I received an email for a person who is requesting for a quota for more than 100 box of masks, and I'm pretty sure that I replied to him. And also my manager was in CC. So after 2 days he called the manager, and the manager called me, and he said that it was a big order, then why would I respond? But I mean, in this case, the manager would definitely prioritize because the customer is always right. But then I was really triggered because I know myself that I did reply and I did a code, and I also he can ask the coding department or the offer team that they can give him a discount, and then okay guys, you don't want to believe me, I want to go. And I started searching for the email, but luckily I found it, and then look, I really replied to him. But I don't know, man. I didn't have anything about the behind that because it was behind the reply. But this situation, like it almost everyone the manager, he was telling me, why didn't you reply? I felt like, sorry, but I really did my job.
Okay, interesting. Do you work, or have you ever worked like with what we call here a cross-functional team? You know, when you have a responsibility,
Yeah.
which is yours, and you work with other departments, but you are not the boss of this other class, okay? And this guy
You mean I'm not the team member of the team?
You know the score.
You mean that I'm not
Tap all
part of
3
the
junction
team?
boxes to give
You
me
are
the
not
full
part of
view.
their team, it's just that you have a team, you know,
Yeah.
this is what we call a cross-functional team.
Yeah.
Because everything which we do here, of course, is linked to packaging, logistics, QA, and so on and so on. So you are the one who is, let's say, responsible for developing the sales, the assortment, to have the goods on time, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But you are not the one doing the packaging,
Packaging,
doing
yeah.
the QA, and so on. So it's what we call a cross-functional team.
Yeah.
So you can try to influence them, you know, to guide them, but let's say on an org chart, there are two different people now, so two different organizations.
Personal, okay. Well,
How do you manage it?
I didn't have this thing particularly, but the thing is, whenever we need to have a tender, there are some legal requirements that has to be taken into consideration when it comes to sending documents to the potential suppliers, such as the required profile, the business questionnaire, the terms. So these things, I contact the legal department to check if legally they are okay, and then after receiving the reply from them, I also forward it to our QA. In this case, it's Mrs. Emily, and then when she replies to me, then everything is okay, and then I can send to the supplier. If this is what you mean, like if you want this to be considered as a cross-functional thing, then yeah, I will always do that. Also packaging and the packaging material, like the packaging, when we receive the SRP, because every product in the non-food department has to be packaged in a shelf-ready packaging, which is easier for the employee to get it off and for the customer as well to see it. So whenever we receive the packaging die cuts, I also forward these die cuts to our colleague in Asia, and they get in contact with the supplier, and we're also all in CC, and then that's how things go. When we have the final die cut and the final okay, then I go to the NBS, I put the packaging material, then I create the artwork request, then the supplier, after releasing the artwork request, the supplier can download them from NBS and start working on it. So yeah, it's all linked together until you get your final product, which is related to the non-food department or food department.
Yeah. Okay. That's the way we work also.
Yeah, I believe they're all the same thing, the same procedure.
Yeah, there it works.
I have a question. I don't know whether it was already asked or not, but it's related also to negotiation. So how do you prep for a supplier negotiation?
So at first, let's say we have this tender, we send the offer, the price offer for the price list for the supplier to fulfill it and send it back. We receive the price offer from all the suppliers. I usually create an Excel sheet file that has the expert's price, the autopiano, the prices for the autopiano, and then the direct prices for each country. And then I do the price analysis, like the sum product, and then I go for like comparing the price between each other. The less the price, and then for this for the first round, we see who are the lowest prices, and for the round two, we
got eyes on the main floor. Real swanky.
We call the suppliers for round two, the potential ones. Let's say out of 10 suppliers from the first round, only 3 were selected to go for round 2. And for this round, also I do the same thing. I do the updated prices, and then I go for comparing the prices that are provided to me now versus the price that the supplier provide on the first place. And then we start negotiate after checking, for example, the raw materials in the country. In this case, there's a website here that's called Mintech, so you can check the raw materials, and then you can tell the supplier, like, why is it this increasing, decreasing, and also not to forget that we also compare the prices that we have from the suppliers compared to the prices of our current supplier. And if it's the same supplier, because normally in this situation it's all 80% it's like that. The same supplier, the current supplier will provide the same or maybe a bit higher prices for the same tender. And we start asking like, please can you just give us a small clarification behind this increase in prices? And then we see his reply. Based on his reply, we would go further in negotiation. And if the prices, like, if we believe that, yeah, the raw materials has increased, the raw materials, everything is going high in the country, then it makes sense for him to increase the prices. And yeah, that's how things go.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And there's the vault armory.
I would have a very last question.
Firepower hanging on those walls.
Practice some sport, and if yes,
That
which
takes
one?
care of the cameras.
Yeah,
Time to head inside. Give yourself up, Case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about back in the casino.
Let's say
Get
in
you
a
close
team
to
or
the
sport.
archive room.
Yeah, actually I joined recently a team, and apparently 70% of the people who run this team are from Metro Markets. I was really surprised. And we are all now getting ready for the half marathon in Düsseldorf that's gonna be in April.
Get ready.
Okay.
Well, what do we have here? Looks like another sewer rat. Let's talk. In private.
So, are you willing to travel and
Yes,
go back
actually,
Case is in.
I always wanted this, especially here
Marshall,
as a working
your
student,
time to
but
shine.
priority are for full-timers.
When
And
that
I
table,
really
you'll
felt
have access
sad
to the high roller
because I
blades.
really like to travel and to meet the suppliers face-to-face.
Are
Because
you
virtually
friendly?
I'm
So
only on
generous.
Teams.
He
No,
keeps giving me
actually
all
going
these
to person
cheats.
is way more better,
Where I'm from, we
convenient
teach our
to
kids
break
to
the
live
ice
with
between you and the
grace
supplier
and
to
I'm
build
afraid you
relationship
are
because
not
it helps in the
Kansas
future,
anymore,
especially if
Doctor.
you're gonna collab with
This is
him
again
or have
for
a
adults,
contact
not
with him.
school
So you know
children.
his needs, he knows your need, you get to know each other. So
That bar
this like
is
it
mine.
breaks the ice
I got a
rather
camera
than
feed
just
behind
emailing
that
and
schmuck.
sending messages.
Time to turn your luck
But
around.
yeah, it was prioritized only for
talk or play
full-timers,
cards?
unfortunately. I also had this question raised to our manager, but then the answer was,